Amerisplaining what's best for you, even if we ain't got no clue. Amerisplaining with Walter. Hey.
Welcome to Amerisplaining with Walter. And I'm your host, broadcast legend Walter Brohahahaha. And I'm still here, sitting in my comfy chair, in my comfy den, beside my comfy crackling wood fire, in my comfy cabin just outside of Chagrin Falls, North Dakota. And as a matter of fact, I'm so comfy that I had entirely forgotten just how much of a shambles our lives have become due to the existence of Tucker Carlson. Kidding! Not kidding. Well, first of all, here's a shout out to Belgium and Uruguay. Keep it up, folks. Always nice to hear from you. And a little later on, as with every episode of Amerisplaining with Walter, I'll be presenting an original song that may or may not be germane to today's topic, but I'm pretty sure it will be. So, the pipe is lit, the cognac is poured. So let's get started, shall we? Well, this being early in the new year, I'm usually still relaxing, not feeling any pressure to Amerisplain anything to anybody. But I felt the comfiness of the last few weeks begin to recede, and you know what that means. That means that it's time to come up with a new subject to Amerisplain. But what? Or should I say, who? While I was thinking about it, I was puttering around the cabin, hanging my 2025 Libs of North Dakota calendar on the kitchen wall. And here in North Dakota, they sold about 6 copies of that one. As the hammer did its work, the blows resonating in my brain like a tent peg in the frozen ground, I stared at the calendar. January 6th. I stared some more. January 6th. Rings a bell. Jesus H. Matilda, January 6th. That day of infamy. Of course, January 6th, a day of infamy, all right. That for most of us, of course, marks the 386th anniversary of that unhappy time in 1639, when the leaders of the colony of Virginia ordered its tobacco farmers to destroy half their crop to avoid economic catastrophe from falling prices. Marking the first time in colonial Virginia history the administration did so. Government overreach, 1639 style. Bad news day for English smokers and libertarians. What's next? You can't run the grist mill on pig manure anymore? Anyway, but for others, January 6th is a day of great celebration and rejoicing. 4 years ago in Washington, D.C., the Republican Party suffered more spinal disintegration than you see on an average day at a dog food factory. Even though the others doing the celebrating were elected MAGA members of Congress who had willingly thrown themselves into the Trump trap, patent pending, slurping up Donald Trump's big lie for the sole purpose of holding on to their seats. So just what is the Trump trap, patent pending? I would describe it as the only strategy in the known universe that allows you to maintain your MAGA constituency using non-stop repetition of the ever more ridiculous, outrageous, and embarrassing talking points that Trump comes up with daily. And even though you don't believe a word of it, they make you stand at the rear at the press conferences and put on serious face and nod your head at the appropriate times, because to lose your audience of one means losing your audience, period. Goodbye, MAGA world, goodbye. But it wasn't just the politicians, because marching alongside were prominent members of the spineless right-wing media. The old right, left, lockstep at the vanguard of the MAGA assault. Fearless Fox at the fore, microphones roaring, podcasts charging, pundits thrusting at the truth, and there in the melee, was Tucker Carlson, so entangled in the jaws of the Trump trap, patent pending. He single-handedly turned an insurrection into a travelogue, trespassers into patriots, violent offenders into victims, flinging a whole ecosystem of amateur right-wing shitposters and MAGA crows out into the world to shill for their heroes. Call strike three, and by God the center held, and by God it was beautiful. But to be fair, he may not have been first and he may not have been worst, but he was certainly among the worst. He's not on anybody's commercial air anymore, exiled from populated areas, doing his long-form suck-up MAGA Twitter suck-up MAGA crap. I used to actually watch Carlson's show quite regularly for its nightly hour of pure comedy. The rapid-fire delivery, the talented lineup of second bananas, his uncanny ability to hold for laughs, which, by the way, is difficult to do without a live audience, and delivering the goods like the stand-up bro he is, punchlines shining through the fog of drip, drip, drivel. But having said that, I get the feeling he looks at his dramatic firing from Fox as the cost of doing business. Move along, little doggy, move along. There's plenty of media chumps. In them there are hills. So it's off to the next bonanza, he says.
Amerisplaining with Walter. Hey!
That didn't sound very good. First off, I don't know the man. Never met him. Don't want to. But as a point of interest, to not meet Tucker Carlson is on my bucket list. And of course, having never crossed paths, I was able to check that box right away. But if we do accidentally meet, hypothetically, I would start in with one of my typical Walter monologues and just keep riffing until I see that confused, slack-jawed, low-hanging eyebrow expression on his face. You know, the face we all get when reading the instructions for our new piece of IKEA furniture. The same one you saw when he traveled to Russia to sniff some French bread and interview Putin. Or was it the other way around? Anyway, he's much loved by and often quoted on Russian state television on the many political talking head shows. And Tucker loves them back. After Putin invaded Ukraine, he asked, "Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him? Has he shipped every middle-class job in my town to Russia? Did he manufacture a worldwide pandemic?" Vladimir Putin didn't do any of that, so why does permanent Washington hate him so much? Probably because, I guess, permanent Washington reads the newspapers and learned to stay away from windows. I used to worry about Tucker's lack of spine and non-existent backbone, his malady. His malady. So I did what everyone else does, I Googled it. And lo and behold, it turns out it's a very well-known condition. It's called Cynispinicism Syndrome. Cynispinicism Syndrome. Say that 3 times on the way to the bank. And the worst symptom of the syndrome is undying and ridiculous public support for a nonsensical public figure and a willingness to constantly lie and gaslight on network television, social media, and sitting legislatures for the sole purpose of making boatloads of money. But don't get me wrong, it's not like I hate the guy. After all, it's hard to hate a man who works so damn hard to elevate journalism to a new low. Look at the Carlson career arc. Every firing led to a new job at a higher salary, a better time slot, and a wider audience. By the time he landed at Fox News, his right-wing bona fides were locked, branded, and burnished, trading in the bow tie for the slack-jaw shtick, and bolstered by high-pitched, hyena-like laughter, became cable news royalty. Back then you may not have agreed with his politics, but at least you got the impression that he was honest in his commitment to most of the stories and the guests he presented on the air. But the seeds of Prince Tucker's destruction were planted. More primetime filthy, all the time, just so a know-nothing business failure could win. A victimhood is clickdomhood presidency inspired millions of MAGA crows, the keyboard warriors spewing the Trump narrative, while media pundits like Carlson, ignoring the onset of Cynispinicism Syndrome, amplified it. No three-dimensional chess to see here, people, just a bunch of greedy media sycophants thumbing through the fine print of their employment contracts while wallowing in the Trump trap, patent pending, while a significant gaggle of elected Republicans sniffed easy re-election. And all they had to do to keep the game going was play to their audience of one. Abnormal is normal, bugs are features, and capital P patriotism has become a nice little financial profit center. And hark as we witness Tucker's golden age. The snivelous voice increasing in snivelousness. A snivelous chortle guaranteed to make a groundhog go cross-eyed at 2,000 yards. Wielding the sword of disinformation gleaned from the most unserious roundtable of political hacks ever assembled. All staged to appease the voters of lowest information ever assembled. So 4 years on, as the Trump gang rides back into town, MAGA's advanced from clever marketing slogan to full-blown cult. So to be honest, I give up. I give up trying to Amerisplain it because this state of affairs is already happening all over the world. For once, America is playing catch-up. Democracies become sort-of democracies, become sort-of autocracies in Europe, South America, and Asia. All after outbreaks of Cynispinicism Syndrome, and it's going to take more than smelling salts and a slap on the head to fix this. Look, Carlson knew Trump lost the election. He knew the lawyers were lying, and he knew January 6th was an insurrection. But even after his audience found out how he felt, what do we find sitting on millions of kitchen counters in MAGA world? Why, millions of give-a-shit-a-meters that are barely moving. As Mark Twain was reputed to have said, a lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is still putting on its shoes. So in the end, the Trump trap, patent pending, did its work. The ecosystem thrived, and Trump lives again. And what of Tucker? Well, he's traded in the cable news studio for a cable knit sweater in rural Maine, sucking up to billionaires who are now exhibiting the symptoms of Cynispinicism Syndrome, slack-jawing and chortling on Twitter to his faithful flock of MAGA crows, and driving the local groundhogs crazy. The Peter Principle in action. Tucker Carlson rising to his level of incompetence. Finally. Still making buckets of money, though, as long as you don't forget to enter the promo code. And to all you MAGA crows, posting tweets in all caps is not patriotism. Memes showing Donald Trump chatting with Jesus Christ is not patriotism. Or worse, Donald Trump as Jesus Christ in a Superman costume, or Donald Trump as Jesus Christ in a Superman costume licking a stick of ivermectin is not patriotism. And buying merch made in China definitely isn't patriotism. And may God have mercy on the groundhogs of Maine. Because at least they got a goddamn spine. Hi, can I help you? Well, good morning, kind sir. Well, I hear you, but I don't see you. I'm down here, you damn fool. I'm laying on the sidewalk. Why? Can't you see? It's my spine, you damn fool. So what is wrong with your spine? Well, I don't got one. Porn and damnation. What the hell kind of chiropractor are you anyway? Oh, you're a Republican. Why didn't you say so? Come on in. It's about time. Just slither up to the desk. I need to get a little background before we start. Name?
My name is Senator Forsyte W. 1/10 points.
Okay, Senator, and how do you spell your last name?
1/10 points. Capital S-M-I-T-H.
T-H, okay. So first question is, do you have any backbone pain?
I got no backbone pain because I got no backbone.
Ah, this should be an easy diagnosis. First, you're a Republican.
You got that right.
Second, you have no backbone.
Correct.
And you love the Village People.
Well, of course. They represent the best that America has to offer in the sphere of entertainment.
Okay, I have bad news and good news. First, the bad news. You're suffering from a condition called Cynispinicism Syndrome.
Oh my God, that's 7 syllables. Sounds pretty serious.
It is. But here's the good news.
Uh-huh.
We can fix it.
Well, ain't that a whole truck of turnips?
By the time you walk out of here, you'll be dancing around like a day-old giraffe.
Oh, and the damnation, let's get to it.
Okay, up on the table, please.
Wait a second, no anesthetic?
Well, you only have half a brain to begin with, so yeah, it'll probably be a waste.
A fair point, sir.
Nurse Pinky, pass me the high-speed drill and a number 6 stainless steel bucket. I'm drilling a hole to penetrate his skull, right into his tiny little brain. I'll flush all the crud, the slimy mega mud, and rinse it down the drain. I'll scrape all the insides, not to miss a thing. If I do, the MAGA might return. 'Cause even his wife is starting to think he's dumber than a fern. What makes you think a MAGA hat can help us turn a page? When billionaires want to create a brand new gilded age, they flood elections with a ton of money and lots of muscle flex. But pushing back will never be as easy as shitposting on X. So how do you feel?
I feel pretty good, actually. They're not eating the dogs, they're not eating the cats, and they're certainly not saving the smelts. Pawn and damnation, I'm cured!
This is a treatment anyone can do. You can do it even right at home. Just flush all the crud, the slimy mega mud, then Facebook your buzz and shout, I've had enough. Then flush all the crud, the slimy mega mud, then rinse it down the drain.
And as you can tell, this episode was pretty damn long, but when I think back at it, it's like, this stuff just had to be said because these are troubling times. Yes, the times, they are a-changin'. So we're going to have a truncated version of the end credits here. So, I don't want to hear that name again. What is it, Blaine Selkirk or something? Anyway, as per usual, the son of a bitch did everything. He wrote it, he sang it, he played it, he recorded it, he mixed it, he did all that stuff. But he just wanted me to mention that it's all copyrighted by him. And he tells me he's got pretty deep pockets, so don't screw around. Till next time.
Walter trotted the globe, facing